Monday morning, George Benson Football Channel video. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I upload new videos at least once every single day. Today is a message to Christian Pulisic. We're going to talk about this discussion, debate, argument, whatever you want to call it right now. Whether or not Christian Pulisic is a forgotten man at Chelsea, which I can't even say it and take it too seriously, to be honest, because we're 6 matches into the season, and some people are coming out with ludicrous statements such as, Pulisic has been forgotten, Pulisic is no more, why did he sign for Chelsea? We're going to try and quash some of these debates today. We're going to try and focus a little bit on the facts, the reality. We're going to talk a bit about the price tag. We're going to talk about who we're really supporting here, and we're also going to talk about the evident chances that will come to Pulisic, and I've also come up with a little scale. We're going to kind of use it to explain the situation a bit more, and it's the quality, trust, and potential scale. All three of those things, we're going to address it. We're going to be using 6 players as examples today, and those players are Pulisic himself, Willian, Pedro, Mason Mount, and Ross Barkley. I think that was 6. Let me just do it again. Hudson-Odoi, that was number 6. It's Monday morning. Allow me. You can see these players on the screen now. We're going to be delving into their evident qualities in the current Chelsea system, the potential that they have as footballers in their entire careers, and then the trust that has to have either been built up, that hasn't been, or that Frank has currently got in these players to start them in the team. We're going to try and compare the 3 together and see where that leaves us in terms of the whole question about will Pulisic get minutes with Chelsea under Frank Lampard. So what is the argument? Well, Pulisic is just being forgotten. He doesn't fit into Frank Lampard's plans. Frank would rather play Pedro and Willian over Pulisic. That argument I can really see. I don't quite know what Pedro has done currently above Pulisic in order for him to be getting the starts, and not only that, not even the minutes coming on for Pulisic off the bench. So there definitely is some legs in this discussion of, is Pulisic going to properly play for Chelsea? We expected him to hit the ground running, probably because of the hype and the price tag and all of these things, yet Pedro is still starting over him, and Willian we could say to an extent, but Willian scored a goal at the weekend and I thought he played quite well. So in terms of that discussion, I do totally understand it. There's also another element to it, which if he's not English, then Frank doesn't care and he won't play. We just got to quash all of this immediately. It's completely ridiculous. If anyone actually believes that the reason Pulisic isn't getting minutes at Chelsea because he's American and he's not English, how do I say this in a nice way? You're a bit stupid. I'm sorry, it's just ridiculous. Willian is from Brazil. Pedro is from Spain. English isn't their first language, so you think we're just prejudicing against the America? Come on. Really, this is a footballing discussion. We're not here to kind of make up that kind of drool in order to just basically admit that you can't formulate a proper footballing opinion about the matter. That is, to me, where I stand on the fence there. I mean, it's not on the fence at all. I stand the other side of the fence. I mean, I'm walking into a wall myself now. But I think we can immediately put that one to bed, and I'm not going to spend time talking about that today because there are more important things to discuss. So Christian Pulisic, he's played 4 matches in the Premier League for Chelsea, or 4 appearances. He's got 1 assist. He had a very good game in the Super Cup, which is definitely his standout performance so far, and he played the full match against Grimsby. The thing that was very interesting for me in that League Cup game, and I said it in my 6 Things That We Learned video, is that at times it did feel as though Christian Pulisic wasn't being passed to when he could have been by his teammates. And I'm not saying that this is the truth, but I can certainly understand the interpretation that there might be a bit of favouritism within the Chelsea side, within some of the young players, because they've played with one another for many years. In terms of talking about young players being integrated into the Chelsea first team, considering so many of them have come in at the same time, it certainly makes that integration a lot easier because they've got experience with playing with one another through the years, through the development squads and through the academy. So there's already that chemistry there, and as a result of that, there's obviously a chemistry off the pitch, which, if we're talking about friendships in football, you can see that the Chelsea playing staff right now, there is some very good chemistry there. They're all together. You've seen the pictures of Tammy, Tamori and Mason Mount after the Wolves game where they all scored. There's some pretty special friendships being built on that pitch, and they're friendships that are already built that we're now seeing as fans of the sport and fans of the club. So Christian's come in, and let's talk about Pulisic as an individual for a second before bringing it back into this conversation of integration. So Christian Pulisic, he left the US at 16 years old to go and play for Borussia Dortmund. Now I look back to myself as a 16-year-old, would I have been ready to jump ship and move countries to delve completely into a new culture, not really knowing very many people at all, into a new language in order to chase what, at the time, obviously Pulisic was a very, very good player. He is a very good player. Let's not deny any of these facts. And in terms of the US men's national team, there's a reason he carries the burden of success for an entire country. Pulisic at 16, he's gone there and he's had to integrate himself into all of these new things that we have just suggested. After just the 2 months or so at Chelsea, some people are turning around and saying that he's not strong enough, he's not ready enough. And for me, that is just not even an argument at all. Christian Pulisic as an individual, he is used to this kind of adversity. He's used to being in an environment where he isn't at the centre of the social attention right now. Pulisic knows that all of these players he's coming in to play with, it's like any new player that signs for a new club. There's often a bleeding in process to get these players used to the teammates on the pitch, off the pitch, and if we're talking about like a happiness scale in football, I certainly don't think that when a player signs for a new club, I don't think that happiness scale peaks within the first few months when all of these cultural integrations, all of these tactical integrations, teammate social integrations, when that's all going on, there's clearly not going to be an optimum level that Pulisic is going to be able to reach. That being said, if we move it into this discussion about quality, potential and trust, right now, what we've seen on the pitch from Christian Pulisic has not been bad at all. I don't want to sit here and pretend it's a 6 things we learnt video and stick Pulisic in a red box and just tick it off and move on from it. Pulisic's been decent and he's got himself 3 assists so far in a Chelsea shirt, but the issues that we are having, and I think, well, I say we, the issues that I'm having with Pulisic's game is that lack of physicality, which I certainly think needs to improve. I think if we look at the amount of tackles he's won and the amount of tackles he's lost in terms of duels, he's lost more duels than he's won in the Premier League so far for Chelsea, which he's got to be improving on those stats. And again, it brings it back to the whole thing of when it comes to integrating yourself tactically into a new system, into one of the fastest leagues in world football, one of the most aggressive. The Premier League is a massive step in a different direction for anybody coming in, playing in it for the first time. You've also got to look at the quality and the potential, and as a result of that, the trust that the Chelsea team currently have in so many other of the players playing above Pulisic right now in the games. So you guys know that when it comes to me talking about potential in football, I don't like saying that a player needs to fulfill his potential or he will or won't fulfill his potential once they go above the age of 25. So if we're looking at Pulisic, I put him in the same bracket as Hudson-Odoi and Mason Mount, and we're going to give them 100 for their potential. I don't really want this to be like a video based off of quantifiable stuff. I just want to talk about it from more of a general perspective, and you guys can see on the screen where I stick these players in terms of the current quality, the potential that they've got, and probably as a combination of those two things, therefore the trust that Frank Lampard has in these players for Chelsea right now. So Pedro and Willian, I think we can all say that we've probably seen the best from these guys in a Chelsea shirt, but they clearly still do have a lot to offer. And Frank Lampard has started both Pedro and Willian in the Premier League at the weekend against Brighton. So therefore, Frank Lampard clearly trusts these players higher than probably Pulisic right now, which I think is the correct decision from Frank Lampard. If we're talking about, and Frank has said it himself, we've got so many young players, and if we were just to field a Chelsea team under the age of 22 for the sake of it, we would be missing out some key elements of experience, leadership and class that has been present for Chelsea, Barcelona, Shakhtar Donetsk before we signed Willian. Like, these players have been playing at the highest level for a long, long time. So in order to perfectly integrate as many of these young players as possible into the team at the same time, Frank has got to strike up a balance. And right now, sadly for Pulisic, the balance comes in the form of players in his position. So if we're looking at trust and we're comparing Pulisic to Willian and Pedro, right now, it's clear that the trust isn't there from Frank Lampard. Does this have any detrimental impact to his potential? Not right now. And this is the key part of the discussion, because we're only 6 games into the season, a 38-game season, multifaceted competitions, should I say. The opportunities for Pulisic will come. And it does frustrate me that so far, already, so many people are jumping on a bandwagon of writing the guy off. He's 21 years old. He's still in that bracket of youth, which I think sometimes I often forget, and I'll be completely honest, I think at times, with my analysis of Pulisic, when I'm talking about this lack of physicality, with this demand for more, I sometimes do forget that he is only 21. So if we're adding Ross Barkley into the discussion right now, and people are always saying as well, like, you've got to remember Ruben's coming back into the fold too. For now, we're just going to focus on these 6. Hudson-Odoi, he's come back in and we've seen an immediate impact. He gets on the ball, very good in the tricky situations, and I think he is a bit more physical than Christian Pulisic. His potential's the same. We're going to give him 100, the same as we're going to give Mason Mount. And the trust in Hudson-Odoi is obviously going to be higher than that of Christian Pulisic because, well, we've already seen him play for Chelsea. It's got nothing to do with the fact that he's English. Hudson-Odoi could have been American and been coming up through the Chelsea academy. And I know these are all hypothetical things, but just to completely eliminate that argument from the procedure, Hudson-Odoi, yes, he's English. However, he's been playing at Chelsea before. We saw his talents last season, and there's, as a result of that, clearly more trust in Callum right now than there is in Pulisic. And again, I bring it back to this social integration aspect where we saw it against Grimsby. Pulisic wasn't getting on the ball as much as Callum was in the second half because players are probably more likely to pass to somebody that they've been playing with for years and years and years. And this is something that will take time. This is something that I fully believe is in Pulisic's character to be able to come out of the other side of the clear adversity that he's going through as a player right now. And I don't think there's going to be any issues moving forward in terms of Pulisic getting chances because, like I said, we're playing in numerous competitions and we've still got players coming back from injury. And, you know, the luck that Chelsea have had with injuries this season, as much as I would never want to wish an injury upon a player to see another player play, there is a likelihood this season that the likes of Pedro and Willian, they're probably going to go through little injuries of themselves, which single-handedly puts Pulisic straight back into the team. So hopefully the graphics on the screen kind of explained where I was going with this quality, potential and trust thing. And obviously the quality is what we've seen right now. Potential is how good they could become. And the trust is probably what Frank thinks about when it comes to making his decisions. £58 million. Let's talk about the price tag for a second. It's a lot of money. A player who at the time of purchasing him, I think he was 20 years old, he's now 21. That is an astronomical sum of money. It really is. There's no denying that. But does that mean, just because we've spent that much money on Pulisic, that he's guaranteed to start in every single match? Does it mean that he walks into the team off of, what, the price tag? When we're talking, and I've said it millions of times this season, Frank Lampard picks his team off of a meritocracy. He picks it off of the performances of players in matches, in training, and as a result of that, that is what we see on the pitch on a Saturday afternoon against Brighton at 3 o'clock. So Frank Lampard, and I'm glad Frank's doing this, he's not looking at the price tag and thinking, oh, is Roman going to be happy if I'm not using the player that he's just dipped into the club's pocket and spent £58 million on. No, Frank isn't worried about that. He's picking the team based off of what he believes is the correct Chelsea lineup moving forward from a tactical aspect and to give us the best chance of winning football matches. So in terms of the price tag, yeah, there could be a worry if we're talking about this in 5 months' time that Pulisic might want to leave and then what is the price that we get from him if we sell him? These are all hypothetical things that I don't think are going to come into the frame. I'm only making this video because there's so many people flipping talking about it, and quite frankly, I just wanted to give my views on it. But 58 million, it could be a steal, but it's also not an amount of money that we can just shove to one side and call it a failure. We've done that with too many other players in the past. So what's the reality of the situation? Well, I think we've touched upon it many times within this video. The reality is Pulisic's moment will come. And right now, as a result of tactical things on the training ground that we don't get to see, there probably is an element of social integration where Frank sees more chemistry with the players that have been playing with one another in the academy for many years. So as a result of that, when we've got to be winning matches on the football pitch, which is the most important thing, Pulisic might not be quite cutting it right now in terms of having the likes of Pedro, Willian, with that experience, with that knowledge of what it is to play for Chelsea and all of this stuff. But Pulisic's time will come. We need to stop getting on the club's back about him not playing. We need to stop getting on his back. We need to also remember that Pulisic is going to do interviews with NBC and he is probably going to tell the truth about how he's feeling. And I think it's good that Pulisic has come out and said that, you know, he doesn't quite know why he's not getting minutes right now. But let's just remember that the background of this guy, he knows that it's hard work to come into a new culture, to move to a new country, to integrate in all of these different facets that we've mentioned in this video today. Pulisic's going to be aware of that. And I just hope, and this is where it becomes a message to Pulisic, I just hope that he realises that this is Chelsea Football Club. It's a massive club with the biggest inspirations and aspirations in world football. We want to be winning Champions Leagues. We want to be winning Premier Leagues. And right now, with the foundations as they are at Chelsea, I wouldn't be too surprised if we see us do that in the next 5 years, because We've got all of the players available. We've got the finances to back us now when it comes to dipping back into the transfer market. And we've got a manager and a fan base who are only pushing the club in the right direction. So little things like this whole debate about Pulisic, we need to remember that football and seasons are very long. It's September, almost October. Christian's time will come, and when it does, I'll be very excited to see him, and I cannot wait to see how he integrates into this Chelsea team moving forward. So let's just bring it back to this who are we supporting question again. And we mentioned it earlier within the video how, you know, with Pulisic being from the United States, it's a brand new fan market for Chelsea to go into. If we compare it to Spurs, apparently there's a selection of fans at Tottenham who leave when Son leaves, and these are the South Korean supporters who are not really supporting Tottenham Hotspur, but they're supporting Son. I just hope that when it comes to Pulisic's integration at Chelsea, I can't say you need to support Chelsea Football Club and forget about Pulisic. That's not what I'm here to say. I just hope that through Pulisic's involvement at Chelsea and presence at Chelsea Football Club, that the new audience that are coming in from the United States as a result of this, I hope that these people can understand that football is a sport that involves 11 players on the field, and the goal of any sports team is for the team to win. It's not for Pulisic to get as many minutes as possible and to see his name on the back of the shirt running around the field at Stamford Bridge. That's not the overall goal here. The overall goal for Chelsea and for Pulisic is to be a part of a team that wins football matches, and sometimes it's just a matter of acceptance that as an individual, you may not have the biggest role to play in that at this moment, but football is a transitional sport. Every single minute, something new happens. An injury can come up. A chance can come, and it's up to you to take that chance as a professional, and if you don't, then you don't play. It's as simple as that. Not saying that Pulisic hasn't taken his chances so far. I just think bringing it back to this quality, potential, and trust scale, he's not quite as high up in the orders of some of these just yet, which is perfectly fine. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. I hope it's addressed the situation in as professional and balanced manner as possible. Obviously, my opinions, this is my channel, it's where I can say what I want about Chelsea Football Club. There's no one telling me I can or can't do this, I can or can't do that. Do I think it's the right thing right now that Pulisic isn't playing? I would say yes, but I would also say that I think he might deserve to play over Pedro right now. Potentially Willian too, but we're bringing it back to this meritocracy argument. Willian scored at the weekend and had a good game, so maybe Pulisic might have to wait a little bit longer, but it is a long season. I've said the same things numerous times in this video, and I think it's important for us to always remember that. Pulisic will get his chance. I'm still just as excited about his future at Chelsea now as I was during pre-season. I think we've seen enough positives to suggest that he's not going to be a flop. That's certainly not the case. We just need to relax a little bit. You know, the man's going to get minutes. It's a long season, and we're blessed to have some very talented players at this club in all positions who can come in and fill a void when needed. And in terms of building that trust with the manager, best thing that Christian can do right now, keep working hard. And if the chance comes against Lille or Southampton, you grab it. You take a few risks. You get yourself involved. Put everything, leave nothing on the pitch. So yeah, that wraps up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you're not yet subscribed to the George Benson Football channel, be sure to do so. It's free. Turn on the bell notifications as well if you don't want to miss a video. I upload a new one at least once every single day, so if you forget to turn on the bell, then just come back to the channel and there'll probably be something new there for you to watch. I love to read you guys' feedback in the comments down below. As I always say in my videos, the conversation doesn't end here. It carries on in the comments down below with you guys. I will see you all tomorrow in France. I'm not moving to France. Getting the bus to France tonight, so I'll be there doing my match preview, hopefully outside the stadium tomorrow, so we can start the Lille conversation then. Hope you enjoyed the video today. See you all later. Goodbye.